Hey guys, my name is Marta, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about River Send Me Home by Eleanor Shearer. This is a recent release dealing with the aftermath of slavery in the Caribbean colonies of Britain. The book is by a brand new author, Eleanor Shearer, and despite the fact that you can very easily tell that it's someone's first novel, which I will talk about later, it is a book that I think it's a very nice story and that's worth your time. In the book we follow our main character Rachel, who runs away from her plantation right after slavery is gone. She refuses to stay there even though the now ex-slaves, are supposed to stay working as apprentices, because she refuses to spend one more day in this place in which she has been suffering for most of her life, and in this place where she lost so many of her loved ones. As she runs away, she encounters this other lady who introduces her to this community of runaway slaves who are all living together. From there, this woman will teach her how to be loved and how to feel cared for, and will also encourage her to go away, look for her children, some of which are still alive. Most of the novel then is the quest of this woman, Rachel, for her children who were taken away from her as they grew up as slaves in the same plantation as her. This woman is, as you can expect from an ex-slave, someone who's dealing with so many things, including trauma, depression, loss of many children, some of them because of death, and some of them because they were taken away. And she is overall a woman who's going through a lot of things, as you perfectly understand as a reader. The book is overall a very beautiful story in which you really get to see how getting back in touch with so many loved ones helps our main character. It is a book about family, about healing, and about building new relationships with people that you encounter in your journey. Is then, as I have just briefly said, a story of a quest to look for people, but it is not only a quest. The result of will be going back to your children, to your loved ones, but also a personal quest of growth and of getting rid of all this pain and trauma she has been going through in her life until this very moment. It's a book in which you really get to see many people from many different backgrounds bonding together over the pain that was slavery. It's a book that talks and discusses many of the horrors of the slave system and many of the things slaves had to go through. It's overall a very sad book, but that manages to have a very hopeful tone overall in the story, which is something that, as I have said at the beginning of the video, is something that you can really see is a feature that the author puts because of her being a new author. I don't know if this makes sense as I say it, but when you read the book you can tell it is someone's first book because of the way it's written, because of the way things always tie together perfectly, and because of how hopeful and sometimes unrealistically hopeful some messages are. But even though this book is, I would say, a very cute, not exactly cute, a very sweet story that shows you the importance of having a community of people who care for you, of accepting care and love from others, and that shows the importance of family, especially in extreme situations as the one depicted in the novel. As a historical novel, I think it's a book that despite being set in the 19th century and despite having this historical setting, does not really feel daunting nor heavy. It's not really filled with historical facts that are going to overwhelm you, and I think that despite it being a historical novel, it's a pretty accessible book that everyone can very easily pick up. Overall, I would say this is a nice read. It might not be the best thing you can read depicting this topic, but I think that it's an important read, especially if you want something that deals with topics such as slavery in the Caribbean and that is not super heavy when it comes to violence and the aftermath of the slave system. Because even though all of those things are featured in it, I think it's a book that is overall a kind of laid back story that it's more about the positive side of rebounding with your family, of finding a community of people who care for you and love you, than of getting over trauma, than one heavily depicting the pains of what people went through in the plantations. It's also a story that has your typical symbols of a quest slave story. We have the sea and the boat journey our character goes through, which is a huge metaphor for the personal journey of growth and of healing she goes through, and the physical journey of getting back in touch with her kids. And it's a book that shows you many forms of love when it comes to family love, and many ways of showing that you love and care for others. Overall, I gave this book 3 stars. I really enjoyed it, but as I said, I found it to be a tiny bit too simple, but I accept it. I know it's a new author and I think she can grow from it and write better books in the future dealing with maybe similar topics if that's what she wishes to do. I would recommend this book if it intrigues you. It's not too long, and I think that the way it deals with the topics it deals with is pretty well done, and I think that it's most importantly a very accessible book that anyone can read, no matter whether they have a background in this historical period or are completely unaware of what went on in the British Caribbean colonies. So yeah, overall would recommend if you want to read a book that is going to spread a very hopeful love of reconnection with your loved ones, that is also going to depict a quest for love and acceptance and caring and the building of a community that is going to love you. I think it's overall a very hopeful book that can do no harm to read, and one that I am happy I got to read. So yeah, if you read this book, comment down below what were your thoughts on it, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me, and I hope your day is going amazing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!